Hello. The purpose of this video is to explain why I decided to do lessons in the child's home rather than expecting them to come to my home when I first started tutoring. Since then, when we went into lockdown, we also started online lessons, but initially the idea was always going to be that we would do one-to-one lessons, which were face-to-face in the child's home. And my logic behind that was pretty much that normally, children have a tutor because it's a subject that they don't feel comfortable with. It could be for many, many reasons. Um, but if you then took a child who wasn't comfortable with the subject into a strange situation with a stranger that they didn't know, you've got an awful lot of negatives going on. Whereas at least if the child was in an environment where they felt that they were comfortable and reassured if they were in their home, then it would at least relieve some of the pressures for the child. So it was one thing that we were able to eliminate. The other thing that I also thought was from a parent's perspective, you've often got other children as well, maybe younger children or older children, and you've got meals to cook. You've perhaps got to be doing half a dozen other things. The evening's normally the busiest time of the day, and that's often when tutoring takes place. And so by suddenly having to have a child at the house to somewhere for a certain time, now there's not time to drive home again. So we're just going to have to loiter in the area, wasting time. I need to get the dinner ready. They need to be doing, the other child needs to be doing their homework or whatever, or I need to be giving this child their bath and getting them to sleep. And it just becomes this kind of like extra pressure. Whereas if we were to go to the child's home, it relieves some of that pressure for the parents. So the parents can be preparing dinner, they can be helping the other siblings with their homework, they can be putting younger siblings to bed or giving them the baths or doing whatever else it was that they needed to do. So it just seemed like a no-brainer that it would make life so much easier for the family if the tutor traveled to the family rather than expecting the family to travel to the tutor. And so that was the main reason. And there, I was also talking to a parent a couple of years after I started tutoring. We've been doing this for 14 years now. And she was saying that her older daughter used to go for, I can't remember what the tutoring was, but in the tutor's home. And she said she'd pull up and the daughter would get out the car, knock on the door, the tutor would see her in. And then at the end of the hour, she would let herself out. And there was never any communication between the tutor and the parents. And I also believe that the parents are the ones who are paying our wages. And so we need to make sure we've got that open line of communication because otherwise, if there's a reason for them to kind of like think, we don't need to keep this on anymore, either because of time pressures or because of finances or whatever else, could be that tutoring's more inclined to be the thing that goes because they don't know what it is that they're paying for. They haven't built up this rapport with you. So the stronger you can make this bond, build this rapport, the better it is for the parent because they're in the loop and they know what it is they're paying for, but also the better it is for the tutor because it's more likely to become a continual um, service rather than become like 2 or 3 weeks and stopped and done and never to be done again. So that's our logic between doing one-to-one lessons in the child's home. And it also means you, because it's one-to-one and it's in that child's home, the lessons can be much more personalized to the need of that individual child. Whereas if you have group lessons, I mean, this is a different subject, but if you were to have group lessons, you've now got to work with the needs of the majority, find the average need, or try and be helping you with this while you wait for me a second and I'll be with you in a moment, help you with this. Okay, you've got it. Okay, perfect. Right, now what was it that you wanted? And try and split your attention between multiple people. So this just seemed like the easiest, most logical way of doing things. So that's our logic between why we do the tutoring in the child's home. And I hope that if you're in a similar situation debating how to go ahead with it, I hope that was helpful. Have a great week and see you next time.